I mean, obviously banged it up a little bit Saturday, but I think, we're at that point in the year where no one's quite 100%, and so I think, just playing through it, and, obviously I could continue playing on it, and then I got back, got some treatment on it, so got it feeling pretty good right now.
What was it that happened to it?
Yeah, it was on the play. I think it was like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and I scrambled for a first down, and I think it was just an awkward hit on it, and obviously got up and, it hurt, but, looking back on the film and obviously just the way it's feeling now, it's getting better.
How long has that been an issue?
What's that?
How long has it been an issue?
I originally tweaked it against Notre Dame early in the game, and then kind of just been getting better and better, and then I think just kind of retweaked it again on Saturday.
When you have advantage, it's probably hard to maintain your mechanics because you're not doing it. It starts to push off and hurt the leverage. How has it affected your mechanics?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not ideal, but I think just powering through it and, pushing through the pain. I think the biggest thing is learning how to play with it, and I think it's been getting better every single week, and, just learning, kind of how to move on it a little bit and, stuff like that.
You have to relearn that now, Kyle, if you re-aggravated it last week?
Yeah, I think honestly, coming out of the game, I thought it would hurt worse than it does now, so I feel pretty good right now.
Was there ever any thought in the moment of, I might need to check myself out of the game?
No, it's going to take a lot for me, to take myself out of the game. I mean, I knew I was good enough to continue to play, so that's what I did. There's really never thought about it.
When you have a throw like you had to Marvin in the corner for a touchdown, but then you also have the dart over the middle, he's kind of open there. Do you have to try to figure out which one of those is your favorite, even though one of them is a touchdown?
Obviously, on both plays, Marv did a good job of beating man coverage on the one and then finding a hole against zone. And, I think the coolest thing about both those plays are, it's something that, we worked a bunch during the week, and to see it happen on Saturday was pretty rewarding.
When you have a guy like you've worked with him a lot, to say the least, do you have to kind of remind yourself sometimes it's okay to go to him 10 to 15 times a game when you know that the other guys are talented too? Because he's getting a lot of targets, but even Ryan said, maybe we need to get him more targets. So like you guys are doing that a lot, and deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to remind yourself sometimes as a quarterback, like it's okay to just keep feeding him like that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of how it was in high school. I mean, we had a good receiving core in high school, but obviously, given the type of player he is, there's a lot of times where it's not a bad answer to try and find him, regardless of the route and the coverage. He's going to do a good job of finding a way to get open. And, I think you guys see that day in and day out from him. It's just how consistent he is. I don't think it really matters what the defense tries to do to him, what route we give him. He's going to find a way to get open and make plays.
How special is it to play Rutgers, considering that your dad's home?
Yeah, growing up, that was the team I grew up cheering for, going to their games, and so to kind of see it all come full circle, especially playing, like you said, at Rutgers, it's going to be fun. A bunch of family and friends there, and like I said, just seeing it all come full circle is pretty cool.
What does it mean if you get Emeka back, I assume you will, on Saturday, what does that give you? What does that give the offense? Yeah,
I think early on, obviously, Mech had a really big impact in the games he played with together, and he did a good job of making plays with the ball in his hand. Obviously, the Notre Dame game, he had a big game there with some clutch plays, and so I think people kind of just assume that we have Marvin, Mech, doesn't really have a big role in the offense, and I don't think that's true at all. I think you saw it especially early on in the year, exploiting matchups with him, and so to get a guy like that back is huge. And so he's looked really good in practice, and I thought he was gonna be good enough to go last weekend, but I think they just played it safe. So whenever that game comes, when he's finally back out there, I'm excited for it.
Well, everybody has plays in the game that you wish you could do over. That's part of the sport. Coach Day was saying, obviously the first pick for you is a play you wish you had back. When you have a moment like that, though, what do you try to do with that? What do you try to learn from it? Have you watched that piece of film a lot? Do you say, no, I don't want to look at it, I just want to put it behind me? Like, how do you deal with, okay, I know I don't want to do that again, what can I do now?
Yeah, obviously, the only thing, I can do to describe that interception was just a dumb play on my fault. and I think I have to grow from that. And I think sometimes, as bad as it is, I think the best way to not make a mistake twice is to do it in a moment like that. And obviously, you want to cut down on plays like that and eliminate that because, I cost the team points there. But definitely a learning moment and something that, I think I'll grow from. And, like I said, I think, obviously you don't want to have it happen, especially in a moment like that, but definitely a moment to get better from.
When you're a first-year starting quarterback, what's it like trying to strike the balance of, I want to make plays for my team, but I don't want to, push things too hard? I would imagine that can be, for a guy who's only started 9 games in your life, something that maybe can be hard to figure out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Coach Day's offense, and Coach Dennis says it all the time, is you're going to get yours if you just continue to follow the rules of the offense, continue to go through your reads, and just trust your eyes and what you see. Big plays are going to happen, and whether that's throwing a drag to Marvin, having him run it in for a touchdown, or throwing a shot down the field, you're going to get yours regardless. And so I think the biggest thing is not pressing for those plays and just letting them happen as the game flows.
Rutgers' pass defense has been one of the best in the country. What do you see from them, the challenge they can present this weekend?
Yeah, obviously I think the first thing is they're really well coached, and I think it's a underrated team. Honestly, they're 6-2 for a reason, and they've been playing good football and a talented group too. And so I think when you pair that with Coach Ciano, who's in my eyes one of the better coaches in college football, that's the result. And so we know that it's going to be a big test, especially on the road, and we're going to have to bring our A game.
Cal, are you allowed to at least see if Marvin has a shot on almost every play? You understand what I'm saying, man? I grew up in the era of Keystone combos, of quarterback and receiver kind of being known together and stuff. But are you allowed to peek at Marvin on every play, or is it? How does that work?
Yeah, obviously it depends on, I think, A, the play call, and then B, the coverage. But I said this earlier, I think there's never a time where, going to Marvin isn't a great idea. And, I think regardless of the coverage and regardless of what route he's running, he's done a really good job all year of finding different ways to get open. And, I think he'll continue to do that. And I think that's a credit to the way he watches film, being able to see what the defense is doing and, how they're trying to stop him and exploit it. And I think at the same time, he knows, if they want to double him or give him extra attention, it's going to open other people up. And so I think he's done a good job of kind of taking both of those in stride.
Yeah, we saw you kind of hop out. You probably didn't ask this 12 times before I got here, but kind of hop out of last week's game. But was there any way you weren't going back in?
No,
And what drives you in that regard?
Yeah, I knew, it's going to take a lot for me not to go back in. I knew I felt good enough to continue to play. I think the more time went on, I just kind of started walking on it a little bit more and running on it. Felt better. So obviously in the moment it hurt, but given the circumstances, there's no doubt in my mind that I was going to leave that game.
After the game, Ryan kind of absolved you of that second pick. He said at least he understood what you were seeing there. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, so obviously trying to take a shot down the field, and the cornerback, he made a good play. Obviously, I have to see him and do a better job of just being safe with the ball and checking it down, but fell off Carnell and jumped in front of the route that Marvin was running. So a look that I hadn't seen, but I think it's just another learning moment and understanding that you put certain plays on film, teams are going to start to scheme it up a little bit, and I think he made a good play, but I think I just have to be better than that.
I'm assuming that when they announced you guys are number one, you stop practicing and start celebrating. The job is done. How do you guys take it? Did it even register with you guys?
Yeah, obviously, a lot of attention on social media is going to that, whatever. But at the end of the day, we know none of that matters if we don't continue to win. And although it's cool to be the number one team in the nation, it's November 1st, and I think the biggest thing is that keeping the main thing, and that's winning. That's stacking these games and continuing to improve. And if we're still the number one team at the end of the year, then that's the goal.
Can I squeeze in one more?
Yep.
I thought your your scramble on third down when you hurt your ankle, I thought was like one of your better plays of the game. We've sort of talked about like when deciding when to run and that kind of thing. What did you think of that play? And then it's like you make a good run and then a dude falls on your ankle. What do you make of that?
Yeah. Obviously, going back and watching the film, we had a little bit of a quick pass called, third and short, trying to get the ball out of my hands and get the first down. And I think Wisconsin had a good call. They zoned it out and dropped out underneath, and I just kind of felt that void right there in the middle of the field. Third down, if I can scramble up and get a few yards to get the first down, that's what I'm going to do. And then obviously, when it hit me, it didn't feel great. But I think the biggest thing is just trying to keep us on schedule, any way I can. If that's, tucking my head down and picking up a few yards, that's what I'm going to try to do.
All right, Kyle, thank you.
Thanks.